Tourism has emerged as one of the most effective tools for public diplomacy. Now, beyond the official channels, it enables people to connect together and beyond borders in ways that are lasting and genuine. We are delighted to meet with His Excellency Mr. Serge Dickschen, the Ambassador of the Kingdom of Belgium, and discuss how Jordan and Belgium, through diplomacy, would foster cultural exchange and people-to-people connections. Welcome to Anovia, Your Excellency, and we thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
You know that tourism is a powerful tool for fostering cross-cultural understanding, and Belgium and Jordan each has rich cultural heritage. Now, how can we make the tourist experience deepen than the normal traditional sightseeing?
Yeah. Well, first I would like to start by saying that Jordan, from a European perspective, from a Belgian perspective, has a lot going for it. It's not far, so location is perfect. It's a 4-hour flight, you have direct flights. The weather is great, especially if you're a Belgian in October or November, when it rains a lot, when it's gray and it's getting dark very early. Coming to Jordan gives you the sun, and it's got, as I said, a very rich historical heritage. So there's a lot to see for it, a lot to do. So I think with the right promotion tools, there's so much to gain. Of course, Jordan is a bit victim of it, something it doesn't control, which is its regional surroundings, the volatility. We've seen how this can, of course, affect tourism here. We tell our Belgian citizens that Jordan is perfectly safe. It's open for tourism. Please come. What I want to say as well is I think that tourists can indeed be this kind of bridge builders. I mean, we attach in our work here a lot of attention to people contact, and that includes tourism. You know, if you get tourists here, they, especially if they're a bit curious, a bit munfete, open-minded, and they meet with local communities, it can help break stereotypes. It can help understand the country, understand the local heritage, the local culture, and I hope make people a bit more tolerant and more open. And that works the other way as well. We hope that Jordanians will visit Belgium as well, and that this can have this kind of positive influence on one another and better understanding each other.
Your Excellency, tourists are usually drawn to famous landmarks. And we know that Belgium offers a plethora of destinations and experiences. What do you think experiences and destinations that resonates mostly with Jordanians travelers?
Well, first, Belgium is not very big. It's 30,000 square kilometers. So the good thing is you can see a lot and do a lot in a few days. The other good thing is it's really at the heart of Europe, Western Europe. So it's also an easy hub if you want to visit Paris or you want to go to London. You can go by train, so it's very easy. Well, I think Bruges and Brussels are probably the most famous places, destinations. A lot of tourists, including from Jordan, go directly to there. And honestly, I can only but encourage them to do it, because Bruges is really a medieval gem. And Brussels, as the capital of Europe and of NATO, you know, the headquarters of NATO, is really a city with a lot to offer in terms of, I would say, social scene, cultural scene. But yeah, you have to look beyond these cities. As I said, it's not a big country, so you can travel easily. I think a few things which distinguish Belgium, and especially for Jordanians, and make it appealing, is its rich history with a lot of architecture. So it's not just Bruges, it's not just Brussels, it's Ghent, it's Antwerp, it's Liège, but also smaller towns not many people know about and which are really easy to reach from Brussels by train, like Mechelen or Namur, have a lot to offer. They pack a punch in terms of history, architecture, in terms of food. So I think that is definitely something I would advise. What people don't know that much is about Belgium is that because of that history, there's a lot of historical sites, battlefields, for instance, for those who like that to visit. But there's also a lot in terms of castles. Belgium has the highest density of castles per habitant, per capita in the world. I love cathedrals, I love all these medieval buildings. There's also Art Nouveau, it's an early 20th century form of architecture, which is really famous in Europe, and Belgium has the highest density, Brussels especially, of it. So I think there's a lot to see. In the south, it's a bit more green, and that's another thing which might appeal to Jordanians, to see a bit more greenery. It's forested, it's hilly. Something people don't associate with Belgium that much because it's a densely populated area. But the south is very different from the north. The north is more the cities, the urban centers with history. The south is really nature. So there's a lot for everyone, in my opinion.
Amazing. Which takes us to culinary tourism that plays significant role in enhancing travel experience, and that's a fact. People, when they come, they always talk about food and places. Belgium is famous for its culinary delights, including the waffles, the fries, and definitely the chocolate, the Belgium chocolate. How do you see culinary tourism between Jordan and Belgium enhance the dialogue, the touristic dialogue?
First, I'd like to say that not denying the importance of all the food and especially waffles, you know, mussels, fries, and chocolate. It's a fact, but of course, Belgium is much more than just that.
Sure.
But culinary tourism is important. Food is really important for Belgium, and I think this is something where Jordanians and Belgians think alike. You know, going out with family or friends to eat is a really essential part of our culture. I think food, but like religion or language, is a cultural marker. It tells a lot about national identity. And for us, it's really central in our lives. We have a lot of restaurants and pubs in Belgium, wherever you go, even the smallest towns, because eating is so important. Because of that, it's also part of my job here. Within my activities in terms of public diplomacy, culinary diplomacy plays an important role. We had two events around food recently. One was about promoting Belgian chocolate, which is quite popular here in Jordan. And the other one was a Belgian gastronomy day. So where are we trying to show, of course, what we have to offer? So yes, gastronomy is very important. And I think Jordan could do more around that. I can see that often Belgian tourists don't know much about Jordanian culinary heritage. When there is one, you have great restaurants. You have wineries and vineyards. I mean, this appeals to Belgians and to Europeans, especially because your vineyards are quite unique in the middle of the Basalt Desert, close to the Syrian border. I particularly enjoyed visiting them. I don't want to stress too much the wine dimension, but I didn't even know that Jordan was producing wine. So I think if we're talking about culinary tourism, there's probably more that can be done in this country to put this culinary heritage you have to the fore.
Which takes us, Your Excellency, to talk about sustainable tourism, which is essential to preserving cultural and natural heritage. And we know that both Belgium and Jordan are interested in focusing on sustainable tourism and promoting the responsible travelers. If you'd like to comment, please.
No, we definitely have in Europe overall, but also in Belgium, an increased awareness about the importance of a more sustainable tourism. There is really a big demand. In Belgium, we've seen a growing number of, call it, touristic places, which are, you know, respectful and mindful of course, the environment, generally speaking, where tourists don't want to leave too much of a footprint. But it's not just about environment and biodiversity, it's also the respect of the people, the respect of the culture. I think it's really important also that people go towards the local communities, understand them, and respect those communities. So I think there is definitely a growing awareness of this, especially among younger travelers, very much. We see that increasing demand, where they will go rather for the eco places. I think in Jordan you have a few places which are really great when it comes to that. You have Feynan, I'm not sure what I should say. Feynan, there are others, but you have eco-lodges, so they do exist. You do have also initiatives which are really mindful of the impact on local communities, trying to involve them, make sure that some of the benefits flow back to them. And I think this is all part of the sustainability. I think you have amazing nature here. I mean, I'm going to say the Wadi Mujib, but I could say the corals in Aqaba. I could mention so many places. One thing is I would love to see a bit more here, and we have had activities around that. It's the environmental awareness. I think in Jordan, people should be aware of the fact they have a unique place, a really unique place, and that they have to preserve it. Not just for them and for their sake, and not just for tourism, but for the next generation. When it comes to plastic, you have Wild Jordan, which does a great job in terms of the eco-lodges. But I would like to see this, and this is the same thing, the challenges we were facing a generation or two ago, and it is education. Educate people about the fact that what you have here is also for the next generation, and for the next generations, not just for yourself. So preserve it. And it will also, I think, offer a lot of opportunities in terms of tourism and thus for the economy.
Absolutely, absolutely. And now we come to your personal experience. I know that you've been here for almost 3 years now.
3 years.
And would like to, if you'd like to highlight about, something special, a moment or an experience, and something you heard from Belgian visitors about their personal experience, about people, places, food.
Well, I could speak for hours about Jordan. It's a bigger country than Belgium in terms, but it's not that big, so it's easy to navigate, and it's got so much diversity, so much sites to visit. So I have to talk about the obvious ones first, which is Petra, and I've been several times, and for us it's unique. There's nothing like it in Europe or probably elsewhere in the world.
Sure.
I mean, there are other Nabatean sites in the region, but none like Petra. But Petra is much more than the Sikh. It's much more than the treasury. There is so much. And so you can go back on and on because there's so much to see around Petra if you take Petra as a site. I'm a big fan of the desert. There's something meditative, calming about this kind of stark, I'm not going to call it emptiness because there is life.
It is.
But it's arid.
It's amazing.
I love it. And there's desert and there's desert.
Yes.
You have the sand desert of the Wadi Rum, the Wadi Araba. You have the basalt deserts towards Iraq and towards Syria. They offer different experiences. For me, this is probably the places where I really like to go to. I have to talk about the corals in Aqaba. I mean, they're much richer than what I expected. The thing is, if you walk a little bit off the main places, you go to public beach and you walk 300 meters, you have it all to yourself. And it's fantastic. If I had to find one place, I don't know, I loved the greenery of Ajloun, Dibin Forest, but maybe the desert castles. There's something so evocative about them. They're unique. And at the same time, maybe I shouldn't talk about it because maybe there will be more people going, but it's incredible. There's almost no one. Don't know whether it should sadden me or make me happy because when I go, I'm on my own. But they are impressive, and especially Qasr Amra is a unique place. It's in the middle of the desert. It's not very big, but it's historically unique. It's so rich in terms of its artistic value with the frescoes. I really truly think this is an incredible place. And then maybe I will say a word about al-Rasas, where I went a couple of times. I was almost always alone. There's so much layers of history. Go back, Roman time, Byzantine time, Seljuk, and you go on, Umayyad, and you have these incredible mosaics. And it is evocative because you can imagine, you have all these ruins and you can imagine what life could have been. So in my case, a little word for the maybe less known archaeological sites, which I find so brilliant. Qais is also one I should mention. I mean, maybe less known than Jeddah, but so beautiful.
It's an amazing place, and what you just shared with us is part of the niche tourism that offers exciting opportunities. But looking ahead, Your Excellency, what innovative kind of tourism, maybe religious, adventurous, cultural exchange, do you think would redefine how Jordanians and Belgium experience for each other's countries?
Yeah, I think niche tourism has one big advantage, and that is that it offers a different angle, a different perspective. One people don't necessarily always associate with the country, and maybe that helps as well to see that the countries we visit are more varied than we think, than you can read in a travel guide, that there's way more to it. So that, I think, is also a positive about niche tourism. Well, in Jordan, I think quite a lot of attention has been paid to wellness tourism more and more. And I think the Wadi Rum is one of these great places for that. There is more, the religious, I think that's quite interesting because I don't think that people in Belgium realize enough that this is a biblical country. And this is, the basic of our society. We are a Catholic country in Belgium, essentially. I mean, we have several religions, but originally it's a Catholic country. And so there is that cultural marker, a reference for us. And I think Jordan should advertise this. I mean, Jordan has the advantage of being in this region quite a voice for moderation, quite of tolerance. And so it should really, really focus on that as well. There's a lot of these, I mentioned the small archaeological sites. Well, you can link it to the religious dimension. There's a lot of these small ones.
Yes.
I know the Mukawir, now there is a project with the EU to renovate it. And I think it's a great thing to do because there's a story behind it that a lot of people in Belgium know because it goes back to the Old Testament. And so we know about it. But I think that is going on and that can be pushed forward as well. I'll come back to what I said. I think gastronomy is something where Jordan should be proud of and could do more in terms of the niche. And in Belgium, you know, one of the niches we probably have a lot to offer is historical tourism. Yes. I mentioned battlefields. I mean, I know it doesn't sound a great thing, but Belgium was for centuries the battlefield of Europe. You just look where we are, a location, at the crossroads of all the big countries in Europe. And so Waterloo is probably one of the most famous ones. But this is also a form of a niche tourism. And I think, again, it can offer a different angle. Can I say one more thing? I'm not sure whether on this it qualifies as niche tourism, but arts. You organize more and more music festivals here, and you do it in Petra, you do it in all these famous, great, or the amphitheater in downtown Amman, and there's people who are interested in that. We have that in Belgium as well. Belgium, I like to think at least that we are one of the richest countries, if you look at our size and the number of people living there, in terms of its art history. Together with Italy, amongst others, we have a lot of museums with great pieces of art. And this is something also where I would say to Jordanians who visit, please take your time and visit all these museums because there's so much on offer.
Yeah, Excellency, thank you very much for your time. It's very informative and we enjoyed the talk together.
I did as well. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for having me. Thank you.